Hey everyone, welcome back to BrowncoatNerd. Hopefully this will be a short one, but it's just kind of an interesting one. I came across this little box of ammo here on Liberty Tree Collectors. And as you can see, it's very close in appearance to your standard Yugoslavian 8mm Mauser ammo. But they were selling this, and they were advertising it as Covert Ammo. Made by Yugoslavia. I guess kind of the idea was that they could supply countries that might piss off their allies if they were given stuff to, so that if they left these boxes behind, it wasn't, obvious who was supplying them. And if you remember on my video I made for the Zastava M48 here, I bring up the BO model and how a lot of people say that the crest has been scrubbed off. We'll just knock some of this stuff out of the way. Oh, making a mess. The crest has been scrubbed off, and I talk about how I don't think it was actually scrubbed off. It was just simply never put on there. And a lot of people, like everybody, says the reason for doing that was so they could supply countries, and no one would know who was supplying them with their arms, and it wouldn't get them in trouble with their allies. And I kind of poo-pooed on that a little bit in this video for the Mauser. And, my school of thought of that was they just left them blank so that they could put on their own crest. And you will see a lot of these Zastavas, Mausers, that have other countries' crest or, military crest on them and stuff. But then I came across this stuff, and so... okay, maybe there is a little more to that than I originally thought. So, let me zoom in here. I wanted to get some of this just out of curiosity. Now, this is not cheap ammo. At the same time that I got this ammo from Liberty Tree, and I will say real quick, I've purchased from Liberty Tree many times. Don't get me wrong, I'm not talking crap on Liberty Tree, but their prices do tend to be a little high. But at the same time, they have a lot of stuff that just you don't find on other websites. So I stumbled across this, wanted to order it, and I ordered a few more boxes of the surplus ammo they had. Now let's see. So all of the other surplus ammo I got from them was 1954 marked. Sorry. I've got some other surplus ammo Yugo stuff that I bought previously. So this right here, I'm pretty sure is essentially just the same as this stuff. And to give you an idea of how expensive this is, these little boxes here cost me $8 per box. So that's 15 rounds. They're on the stripper clips. And that's from Liberty Tree. So you can most likely find them a little bit cheaper somewhere else. This box, 15 rounds, was $22. But I was really curious. I wanted to get it. They've offered covert ammo before, not necessarily from Yugoslavia, but I've always wanted to kind of get some out of my collection just because it's kind of odd and unique, and the head stamps are a little bit different. I have not opened this box. Now, this is one complaint I do have. I spent $22 on this. People buying this are going to collect it. They're not going to shoot it at $22 per box. I wish in the picture, of course, they show it's a pretty well put together box. I wish they would have offered, if they've got a bunch of these torn ones, a reduced price on these. Because, I was hoping just to keep this all sealed up. Have it as a collector's piece or whatever. But this, I don't know what I'm going to do with this now. I'm probably not going to shoot it. I haven't dug in here too much. I haven't pulled out any of the ammo yet. I will do that with you guys here today. But their website does state that this is all manufactured in 1961. Of course, they have the picture of the head stamps, and it just has 61 on it. Also, Liberty Tree mentions that, this is straight from their website, judging from the wooden crate they came in, they were destined for Yemen. So I'm not really sure what was going on in Yemen in the early 60s, who was angry with them, who was supporting them. Looks like Yugoslavia was to an extent. But I looked around online, and there's really just not a whole bunch of information about this quote-unquote covert ammo. So I got on the interwebs, couldn't find diddly squad. Everything I pretty much looked up just sent me right back to the Liberty Tree website where I bought this. I did get on some boards and different social media groups and started kind of asking around. And same thing again, no one really knew what it was about. People kept telling me that because there's a picture of the ammo in this, I kept getting people saying that M48's not converted. It was always chambered for 8mm. It was left in Yugoslavia by the Nazis. It's just like, God, first of all, you didn't read what I said. I said covert, not converted. And this was made well after the fall of the Nazis. And just like, if you don't know, and that's part of the reason too, I'm really not on social media that much anymore. It's just the amount of bad information going out there from people that sound like they know what they're talking about, but don't. And I'm sure they think they're right. I don't think they're doing it on purpose, but God dang. Anyways, so really not a lot of information came back from that. I did have one gentleman with a very Arabic sounding name comment on there saying, oh, that's really unusual. We always use Yugoslavian 8mm ammo, but it never came in a plain box like this. So I was like, ooh, well, what kind of Yugoslavian ammo did you use? And he promptly shared a picture of a box of this stuff, and it was 50s era. I can't remember exactly what year. And so I was like, oh, okay, just the normal stuff. And then I asked him, exactly where he was. And when I was asking questions, I just said, has anyone heard about this? Like, I gave out no information that was on the Liberty Tree site. I just didn't want people repeating that. And interestingly enough, this guy responded with, I'm in Yemen. I'm in Yemen, I'm a Yemenis, however you would word that. So, at some point, Yugoslavia was no longer concerned about shipping over the quote-unquote covert, and was just shipping them the regular stuff. And like I said, the picture he showed me was 1950s era, and I think he even stated that it was all 1950s ammo that they were shooting, and this one is dated 61. So if this is something that came about like after they were supposed to no longer be trading with Yemen or something, I really don't know. I don't know if anyone knows. But I just thought this was really interesting, so I wanted to show it off to you guys. Maybe someone out there actually knows more about this. I would love to hear what you know about it in the comments. So, let's see. I thought I had a stripper clip pulled out. So, I'm going to pull out a stripper clip of just the standard surplus ammo. Ooh, this stuff is dusty. Okay. So you can get it on stripper clips or without stripper clips. The boxes I have, they're all on stripper clips. So, I'm hoping I can just open the back of this without cutting the seal. Like how bad this box is. You can see even the bullets we're pushing through. I'm not going to be terribly upset if I completely rip it, but at the same time, 22 bucks, I would prefer not to. Oh, you feel like you're going to rip. This is what I'm trying to do. I was trying to gag nab it. Well, this was going to be a short video. Here we go. Now we're making progress. That'll work. I'd like to get a whole stripper clip out though. All right. So there you go. And yeah, all it has on the head stamp is, was that 64? No, 61. Looked like a 64 for a second there through the camera. Yeah, 61. Whereas the normal issue stuff, good Lord, this is really dusty. Looks like it's got a star on it. Let me get you on camera here. Got a little star there. 54 right here, which is the production date. I guess we got 2 stars on either side. And then a 12. Yes, 12. Oh, the other thing the guy from Yemen mentioned is the stuff they got was marked being from Factory 11. So that's why I forgot to mention that. So I was like, do you mean this was just marked 11 instead of 111? And he's like, no. Factory 11. And then threw a picture of that. Now, one thing I do notice right away, the seat for the primers here do look a little different. So this is the quote-unquote covert. This is the standard stuff. And the standard stuff, by the way, is M49. I do also have some M75. This is like the good fancy sniper stuff. So here's the Covert. Here's the M75. Yeah, that looks a little bit different. They're all slightly different from one another. And so, of course, we're talking about the color on the jacketing there looks slightly different. I think it's the same material. I think this just has more of a patina on it for whatever reason. You know, both of them have the annealed brass. But while we are talking about surplus Yugoslavian 8mm Mauser, I do feel required, and I'll go over all this random crap later on if anyone's curious at the end of the video, if I remember. The one thing you have to go over is one thing I see pop up a lot, never ever referring to the M75. This is kind of considered the best quality 8mm surplus ammo you can get. People love this stuff. This stuff seems to have a bit of a love-hate relationship with it. And I was looking around, and I've seen this for a while, especially when I first bought this. A lot of people kind of warn, and I've seen some different websites. Some people have said anything between 52 and 56. Others have said 53 to 55 are like bad years. And also I've heard people say that simply only 54, which is what this stuff is right here. I've got some 53 as well. And that was the stuff I had originally gotten shot. Yeah, here's what's left of that. I ended up getting, I think I had a total of 3 boxes. A box came with the gun, and then I ordered another 2 boxes, and it was all 53. But then I ordered this stuff when I ordered the Covert ammunition, and it was marked 54. So the issues, one of the biggest ones is people will say that these have a hard primer, or that the primer is just recessed too far in there. And I can tell you right now, from rubbing my finger across this here, the 1954 stuff, it is definitely recessed in there quite a bit more. Let me get the M75 ammo. And this, I would say, is equal to the Covert as far as how far down seated it is. Maybe the Covert stuff's a little bit deeper, but this definitely seems to be seated down there quite a bit. So people will say these have a hard primer. You will likely get light primer strikes. And just so you know, the head stamp on the good ammo here, you got NNY, which is PPU, in 1992. Yeah, dang. 1992 for the date on that. Impressive. But people will see these have hard primers. Also, the issue with that primer being seated down in there, so you'll get light strikes. A really common modification to do on these guns is putting in a Wolf Performance heavy firing pin spring. And supposedly, everything I've read, people saying that had issues, if you put in that stiffer firing pin spring, that will fix all of your issues right up there as far as the hard primers. Another issue I see come up, not nearly as much as the hard primers, but it still comes up pretty often when you're talking about this surplus Yugo ammo, is that they will have case ruptures. And specifically, from what I've seen, I have no hands-on experience. I haven't had any issues with it yet. Specifically 54. And if you heard that in the background, that was not a duck. Little Boo just got a new toy, so he's been playing with that all day. But people are saying they'll have case ruptures. Now, once again, if you're firing it through a bolt action, really not that big of an issue. You might get some blowback in your face. So if you are shooting surplus, you might want to, you know, absolutely make sure you're wearing eye protection. You know, they always recommend eye protection. I wear glasses. All the ranges I go to say glasses, you know, are sufficient for that. So I've never really messed with eye protection. I'm sure I'm going to get someone commenting on here that saying, you know, I should get the full shields, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm, you know, but this stuff you might want to, you know, think about that twice, especially if you don't wear glasses and you don't normally wear eye protection. I'd recommend something when shooting this, and maybe that's just I'm erring on the side of caution. But I've just seen it come up so often. There's got to be some truth to that. Another thing is people will definitely recommend only using a Mauser or bolt action to shoot this surplus Yugo ammo through. Now, when I'm saying surplus Yugo ammo, that is excluding the M75. Like, this stuff seems to be good to go all around. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the ugly cardboard boxes. Do not shoot them in semi-autos. You only want to use a bolt action. That way, if you do have any issues, you know, everything I've read, these Mauser actions will handle it just fine, other than, you know, you may be getting a face full of gas. So just wanted to point that out. Like I said, I haven't had any issues with it, but at the same time, I've only gone through like 3 boxes of this surplus ammo. So that's really not a whole lot of hands-on experience for me to be telling you if it's good or bad. So I'm just letting everybody out there know potential issues they will have. And the stripper clips for the Covert seem to be the exact same as your standard Yugoslavian stripper clips, which has always been kind of my argument on the BO models not having any crest on there, because it's like, okay, it doesn't say Yugoslavia, but if someone really wants to find out, they can find out where that came from. But, you know, your average soldier out in the field, maybe it's just not that obvious, so that's worth it to them. I don't know. But like I said, obviously there does seem to be a little bit of truth to the whole covertness of those BO models. So I admit I was probably wrong. And in the video, you know, I kind of told you that was just my own food for thought, and I had no evidence to go off of. Well, now the evidence is kind of stacking up against me on that. So, trying to get that guy in there. So I just kind of wanted to show you guys this. Will I shoot any of the Covert ammo? I probably not. I see this as being one of those weird things that I have a feeling these are the bolt tips that were sticking out of the box since they're so well patinaed. This is going to be one of those weird things I'll probably end up giving out to friends. I like to give trinkets to people. Like when I bought this for my buddy, you know, I gave him American dollars for it, but I also gave him some Yugo Dinara. You know, I felt it was fitting. All this money obviously is from former Yugoslavia. Yes, I know Yugoslavia doesn't exist anymore. Had to bring this guy back out. I had this for my M48 video, but I thought it was cool. Soldier there's got a, I think it's probably an M24 over his shoulder there. This particular one is World War II era. Yeah, 1944. Pretty neat. Got a few other of these smaller ones with that dude, but they're in pretty bad shape. This is by far the best shape one I have. I think I'm done talking about the ammo, if you haven't figured that out, so I think I'm just going to go on to the other random stuff on the table here. You know, because it's Yugoslavian. Sure, why not? You see my little Tito coin. I believe I got this off of eBay. Another coin here. It's got the Yugoslavian crest. Just thought that was pretty cool. 20 para. Valued at $0 now. Let's see, and this is these ladies here. What era are you from? 1968 and 1963. So, you know, right after this ammo was produced, you know, maybe the guys in the factories had a couple of these in their wallet. Oh, probably a couple of these, probably not some of these, unless they're smuggling some of the ammo out of the factory. other moolah or dinar we have, this is 1968. Very classic, just kind of communist, showing, you know, the workers, the people there. This one is from 1978. And this one, 1968. I always kind of like to have a little extra goodies to go along with my guns, especially if I've got a couple of guns in the collection. You guys know I've got several Yugoslavian guns. And also a lot of the Yugo money is just cool looking, I think, especially the stuff like from the 80s and 90s. Oh, sorry guys. You've all seen the M57 Tokarev. I think I've shown you this since I put the lanyard chain, which I know looks stupid, but came across a picture and apparently that's actually how they used it for. I mean, I knew that some of these mags had a lanyard loop on them. I just assumed it was like an ulterior location to attach your, you know, your lanyard, but apparently it was actually designed to hold the magazine. And I've seen this before. Europeans were just freaked out about losing their mags. So it gives you enough slack to drop the mag. Of course, if you're to put in a different mag, you're going to have one mag just kind of dangling. And this is not authentic. This is very close to the kind of chain I saw in the picture. I've seen other styles of chains when I started snooping around for these. So I think it was just kind of like whatever they had on hand. This is just some stuff I found stateside. Had nothing to do with this, but it was that kind of dog collar type chain link. So I just threw it on here. I take it off when I go to the shooting range because I don't want to look weird. And then, of course, you know, we just got the M48 Ammo Pouches that will fit your surplus ammo perfectly. I'm not going to put the Covert one in there because I don't want to mess up the box any. I'm sure they probably didn't put the box in there. They probably just emptied the box out and put the strippers on there. Holy crap. We got one lost random bullet there. Clean all that junk up later. Another thing that I've been meaning to show off when I show some of this Yugo stuff, but I always lose the envelope when it comes time for me to show it off. I got these a while ago. These are Yugoslavian passports or identification cards. They're all a little different. Very, very interesting. Let's see. That fellow looks like 1962 was the birth year, so maybe I won't show that just in case there's any personal information in here. I don't think there is. A lot of these people do not look like they traveled too much. After I got these, I kind of started being like, ugh, should I have bought these? Because I started having visions of, like, you know, some punk kid going through his grandparents' drawer and him, 1922. Okay, I feel comfortable this guy's probably passed by now, so there's that. I imagine it would have had their photo here. This one does, it's stapled in, but it doesn't even look like there's any glue, so I don't know if that was, you know, a lot of these, they just didn't bother with that. Looks like he went somewhere in the early 80s. He was traveling some, or she. But I started to feel bad, so I'm like, what if some punk kid just went through their grandmother's drawer, found his deceased grandfather's old passport, and sold it on eBay? You know, I was like, oh, that kind of sucks. But then I was like, you know what? I hardly paid anything for these. So there's like really no value in it. 51. So I have no clue what any of this stuff says. But it's neat. You feel like some kind of secret agent having this stuff on you. I'm really curious what all this says. Maybe someday I'll bother with Google Translate. Some of these covers definitely look cooler than others. 1926, okay. So there's that. Yeah, I really wish I knew what some of this said here. We went somewhere. So, and like some of these are really cheap. Like this is just a little soft vinyl. This is like, you know, like a book quality backing there. 1922. Yeah, we'll show that one off. See, I'm pretty sure that says photo goes here. but they were not very thick, so I don't think they expected people to travel too much. Now, Yugoslavia was never part of the Soviet Union. That gets misunderstood a whole bunch. So my understanding is the Yugoslavians, they had a lot more freedoms than their communist Soviet counterparts. And I'm pretty sure, my understanding is they were allowed to travel. I actually have an uncle who, I hope he doesn't watch this. I know he doesn't. I think he was Slovenian. I might be wrong on that. I know that's like a touchy thing for me to call someone from the wrong region over there. But back when Yugoslavia was a country, like I want to say this was like the late 80s, early 90s. As a kid, I kind of remember him going over there and visiting family. So like there's travel. Like you could not pull that kind of crap in the Soviet Union. Let me make sure that, what's the year on this? I think 31. So I don't know, I feel bad like showing this because like I don't know if the dude's dead or the story behind it, but at the same time like the historical significance. So I mean, just know if you're related to this guy, this stuff is in my collection and it's very highly honored. Like, you know, I don't pull this out and laugh at it. I look at it as I want to know this guy's story. I'm very curious. Maybe he was a really good guy. Maybe he was a bad dude. I don't know. But very interesting, you know. And like I said, I just got all of these came together as a batch. It was like a lot. And it wasn't very much, and none of these seem to have really, you know, all these empty spaces and stuff. But yeah, those are my Yugoslavian passports or identification cards. I'm not sure if passport's the right term. But that's what those are. I think that's the last of the little fun stuff to show you guys. So, this is neat. It's expensive though. It's the same as this. And I just dropped some ammo behind the desk. So this is purely for the collector. Like, you know, I'm filming this during the whole COVID crap, and yeah, ammo's kind of a pain in the ass to come by. But not $20 for 15 rounds. You know, you can get this stuff. Like I said, I got from Liberty Tree Collectors for $8 for 15 rounds, which really that's not bad. I'm happy with it, and I'm sure I'm going to get people commenting, "Oh, you can get it here for so much cheaper or whatever." And I don't doubt it. Like I said, you know, Liberty kind of does charge a little bit of a premium, but they tend to have unique stuff like this. I haven't seen this anywhere. Like Liberty's the only place I could find information on it. So just kind of wanted to show it off to you guys. That's what it is as everything comes crashing down. All right, well, I hope you guys thought this was kind of cool like I did. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. I will try to bring you much more cool stuff like this. Oh yeah, and guys, I just noticed something the other day. I have over 1,000 subscribers, which I think is really cool. I know that's not a lot, but like 8 of you I actually know in real life. I just kind of started uploading channels and just let them sit and marinate and get spread and viewed on their own. You know, I very rarely shill this. Actually, I don't think I've ever shilled this channel. A lot of people I know don't even know that this channel exists. So I thought it was kind of cool that it was purely able to grow to 1,000 subscribers pretty much on its own, and you know, popping up to people as recommended videos. And I've gotten lucky. I'm sure some of the stuff I got, you know, there's just not a lot of videos on, so they were getting lots of hits, like the Set Me L, which now seems that thing's blowing up in popularity. Like there's all kinds of videos for it now. But yeah, so I just want to thank everyone that has subscribed to my channel. You know, yeah, it's 1,000, it's not many, but hey, I really appreciate it. I do this purely as a hobby. I never plan on making any kind of money or monetization out of this. It just gives me an excuse to buy cool stuff so my wife doesn't get too pissed off. Hey, works out well. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Have a great one. Stay shiny.